Women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights. I agree with American politician, lawyer, and diplomat Hillary Clinton that women's rights are just as important as any human rights. My name is Brianne Hahn, and in a society where my rights are constantly challenged, I feel compelled to inform you about the rights of over 4 billion people on this earth. Today, I will discuss the periods of time, or as Taylor Swift likes to say, eras, of women's rights, as well as women's rights movements and the influential women that got us where we are today. Starting out, we will discuss the periods of time of women's rights. Women's rights have changed drastically over years, but many people don't know the background nor the changes that have been made at this time. From 1848 to 1920, the women's rights movement started. On July 13, 1848, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and 5 of her friends decided that American democracy was unfair to women. They organized the Seneca Falls Convention, which discussed the social, civil, and religious rights of women. Elizabeth Stanton stated the best protection a woman can have is courage. They fought for their rights for 72 years, and this era of activism started centuries of women's rights uprisings. We continue to fight for our rights, and women's rights is still present today. Women face adversity in areas such as reproductive rights, equal work rights, and more. In June 2022, our horrible thoughts became a devastating reality when a 6-3 Senate vote overturned Roe v. Wade and allowed states to place heavy abortion bans, with no exceptions to rape or incest. This took away our bodily freedoms, and on top of getting our medical rights taken away, women also face hardships economically. Women make up over half of the American working class, but are still underestimated in higher positions and make less than the male salary. According to U.S. Government Accountability Office, for every $1 a man makes, a woman makes 83 cents. This jeopardizes the working class of women in America. Now that you know some background, let's talk about the movements that got us where we are today. The women's rights movement is a role of progression of freedom. Starting with the Seneca Falls Convention that took place on July 29, 1848. It was the first ever women's rights convention. Over 300 people showed up and was organized by Elizabeth Cady Stanton. She gave her first public speech stating to have such disgraceful laws as to give a man power to chase and imprison his wife, to take the wages which she earns, the property which she inherits, and, in case of separation, the children of her love. They discussed property, education, marriage, and workforce rights, and this led to annual women's rights convention meetings. After this, it sparked an interest in women's suffrage. In 1869, the National Women's Suffrage Association was founded by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. Shortly after, the American Women's Suffrage Association emerged, and the two organizations merged together, creating one of the largest women's suffrage associations in America. They gained much political attention, and this resulted in the ratification of the 19th Amendment, with a House vote of 304 to 90 and a Senate vote of 56 to 25. In 1919, women were given the right to vote. Leading these movements were and still are powerful and influential women, two of the most including Lucretia Mott and Gloria Steinem. Lucretia Mott was born January 3, 1793 in Nantucket, Massachusetts. She was an advocate for gender equality, helped organize the Seneca Falls Convention alongside Elizabeth Cady Stanton. According to the National Park Service, in 1866, she became the first president of the American Equal Rights Association, an organization formed to achieve equality for African Americans and women. She also helped overturn the 14th and 15th Amendments. Gloria Steinem is currently 91 years old, born on March 25, 1934. She is a well-known feminist in the 20th and 21st centuries. She was a journalist in New York, creating women's pages after noticing that men took the priority in the workplace while women resigned behind desks. She had leadership roles in the women's liberation movement and co-founded Miss Magazine. A quote by Gloria Steinem says, "Don't think about making women fit the world, think about making the world fit women." Now that you know the hardships it took to get where we are today, we began with discussing the periods of time of women's rights movements, then women's rights movements and the influential women who were brave enough to stand up for women and themselves. I hope you come to appreciate the women race as a whole. A woman is more than a pretty face, but a brave, strong woman who can do whatever she puts her mind to.
Okay, that should be good.